Those matches. So Chelsea had the Premiership for the first time ever. They're now favourites to win it. Their odds have been cut to 11-8 tonight. Manchester United have drifted to 13-8 second favourites after losing their unbeaten home record. United travel to Stamford Bridge in 10 days' time. In the meantime, Aston Villa can reclaim top spot if they avoid defeat at Charlton on Monday. Nottingham Forest have taken just 6 points from their last 4 games. They're bottom for the first time this season. Southampton move up 1 place after only their 3rd win. Blackburn stay in sight of Coventry, and Charlton play on Monday, as we said. Right, tonight you will hear what is going to happen in 5 months' time. You will hear it from the two on my left here. Trevor.
Death coming.
Trevor, who's going to win the championship?
Well, the bad news for them is it's got to be Chelsea. I think they could do it. I mean, it's over, what, 40 years since they were sort of their one and only title. I think if you look today, their squad of 16, no Desai, no Lasso, no Wise, no Di Matteo. They've got a tremendous depth. I think they could go. Who are you going to put?
I think any one of 4 could win. The top 3 plus Arsenal. Arsenal have still got a chance. But there's only one team that absolutely certainties to be there at the death. And you know me, Mr. Percentage, I'll go with Manchester United.
Manchester United. So that means that one of you is going to be wrong, or perhaps even...
Oh, so who are you going for?
Well, it's not my job to go for anybody, but I would like to say to my friends at Arsenal and Aston Villa, I'm not discounting you. Yeah. Man of the day. Well, he's taken Chelsea Football Club to the top of the table for the first time in 9 years. If they're there in 5 months' time, he'll be man of the season. Gianluca Vialli. We wish him and you a happy and healthy Christmas. Good night.
Oh, here's Vialli. And now Poyet! Oh, it's in! There is goal!
This is BBC One. Now a news report from Peter Sissons.
Within the past hour, Tony Blair and President Clinton have announced that the airstrikes against Iraq have ended and all their objectives had been achieved. Speaking in Downing Street, the Prime Minister said he deeply regretted the loss of civilian life, but warned that Britain and America were ready to take military action again if Saddam Hussein showed further defiance.
Tonight, significant parts of Saddam's military infrastructure are in ruins. His ability to threaten his region has been diminished. His ability to develop weapons of mass destruction has been substantially diminished too. What is more, he has now received the clearest possible signal of our intent to take action by force should he once again act in defiance of his international obligations in the face of an international community united in its determination to contain the threat which he poses.
Speaking at the White House, President Clinton said that although the bombing would stop, America would leave its forces in the region and maintain sanctions to prevent Saddam Hussein posing a threat to his neighbors and his own people.
First, we will maintain a strong military presence in the area, and we will remain ready to use it if Saddam tries to rebuild his weapons of mass destruction, strikes out at his neighbors, challenges Allied aircraft, or moves against the Kurds. We also will continue to enforce no-fly zones in the north and from the southern suburbs of Baghdad to the Kuwaiti border. Second, we will sustain what have been among the most extensive sanctions in UN history. To date, they have cost Saddam more than $120 billion, resources that otherwise would have gone toward rebuilding his military.
The decision to end airstrikes against Baghdad comes just a few hours after Bill Clinton became the first American president this century to be impeached. The lower house of the American Congress, the House of Representatives, voted to send the president for trial in the upper house, the Senate, on 2 charges of perjury and obstructing justice. Henry Hyde, the Republican chairman of the Judiciary Committee, which has overseen the impeachment hearings, formally handed over the case to Senate officials. The trial is likely to start in January, but could last for months. Well, Clive Murray joins me now from Washington. Clive, first, the decision to stop the hostilities against Iraq. Would you say it was entirely military-based?
Well, that's certainly what the Americans are saying, and we heard President Clinton give an address from the White House making that clear. He said that the attacks had achieved their objective of inflicting significant damage on Saddam Hussein's capability of threatening his neighbors and significant damage on his ability to produce weapons of mass destruction. 70 hours of relentless bombing over Iraq. The Americans believe that that did the trick, but it has to be said that, of course, the Muslim holy month of Ramadan did begin this weekend, and that may have played a factor, and also the fact that the impeachment process is going ahead here too.
President Clinton says he supports the swift return of the UN arms inspectors. Would that suggest to you that this is only a pause in the showdown?
Without a doubt, the president made it clear that if there was any suggestion that Saddam Hussein was still flouting international law and he was beginning to try and develop weapons of mass destruction, then the Americans would and the British would have no compunction in trying to continue airstrikes. He has left that option open, and that is a real possibility, especially as it looks as if the Iraqis have made it clear that they're not willing to allow the international inspectors back into the region.
It's been a roller coaster few days for Mr. Clinton, leading America against Saddam, and then today standing impeached over the Lewinsky business. Has the Iraq operation, do you think, done anything for his standing with the American people?
Well, it's interesting. President Clinton today, in his statement, as soon as the vote was announced that he would be impeached, gave a statement and he made it clear that he would continue to do the will of the American people, that he would continue to do the job that they've asked him to do in 2 elections. He made very little reference to his personal troubles, but talked about his agenda for the next 2 years. The Iraqi campaign has, as far as he's concerned, illustrated to the American people that he is still able to lead throughout this crisis. And if anything, the Iraqi campaign has perhaps bolstered his standing with the American people, with his ratings in the polls still around 60%, so still solid.
Clive Murray in Washington, thank you. There'll be continuous news from News 24 on BBC One starting at 2 o'clock this morning. And then at 8:30, Breakfast with Frost. We'll have a live interview with the Prime Minister. But from us in the newsroom, good night.
Joining the Prime Minister will be the Deputy Prime Minister with David Frost for breakfast tomorrow morning at 8:15 here on BBC One. And you're watching BBC One, where I'm afraid we're now running about 5 minutes later than scheduled. Sorry about that. Now, more talk with Clive Anderson.